Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We are experiencing technical difficulties. The Bardcast players' presentation of William Shakespeare's Macbeth will begin in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We are now about to begin the performance of the Bardcast players' presentation of William Shakespeare's Macbeth. There will be a 5-minute intermission. After the show, there will be a brief question and answer period with the cast. We invite you to stay for that. Also, please feel free to comment upon the show or ask questions in the live chat field. And without further ado, please enjoy William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon!
Fair is foul.
And foul is fair.
Hover through fog and filthy air.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, is supplied. And fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, unsamed him from the nave to the chops, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valour armed compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Captains Macbeth and Banquo.
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons, overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell. But I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
Oh, all thy words become me as wounds. A smack of honor both. Go, get in surgeons. Who comes here?
The Thane of Ross.
Oh, what a haste looks through his eyes, so he should look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious, arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
He hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aroint thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou'rt kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. And the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know in the shipman's card. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Weary said nights 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak, and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest-tossed. Look what I have.
Show me. Show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come.
A drum, a drum. Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about.
Thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9.
Peace. The charm's wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to Forres? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on't. Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me by each at once her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail, Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, which are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner ye greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail.
Hail!
lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane route that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
Oh, and Thane of Cawdor too, when it not so?
To the self-same tune in words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Treason, capital, confessed and proved have o'erthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles to betray some deepest consequence. Cousins, a word I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth, I am Thane of Cawdor? If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes, so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us towards the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, our interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then enough. Come, friends.
Execution done on Cawdor. Are not those in commission yet returned?
Liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude e'en now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to the throne and state children and servants, which do but what they should, by doing everything safe toward your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so, let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose place are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach, so humbly take my leave.
My worthy quarter.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be, which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care has gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
Met me in the day of success. And I have learned by the Perfect's report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail, King that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have, great Glamis, that which cries thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishest should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up th' access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wounded makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold! Hold! Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter, thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
The air is delicate.
See our honored hostess.
All our service, in every point twice done and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest, your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath taught him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs incompt, to make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
If it were done, when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could tremble up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat of the adage?
Pray thee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man, who dares do more is none.
What beast wast, then, that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince, that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his chamber, and used their very daggers that they had done't?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take 'tis later, sir.
Well, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. The heavy summons lies upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear, I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my head. Come, let me clutch thee. But have thee not? And I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which I now draw. Thou marshallest me the way I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before, there's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the 1/2 world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf who howls his watch. Thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. O firm and sure-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabout. And take the present horror of the time, which now suits with it. Whilst I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Peace. It was the owl that shrieked. the fatal bellman which gives the sternst good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
There! Whoa!
Alack, I am afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. Oh, the attempt and not the deed confounds us! Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss 'em. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
As one did laugh in sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear. I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not say amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen is stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So, it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bad balm of hurt hands, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still he cried, sleep no more. To all the house, Glamis hath murdered sleep. Therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who wast that thus cried? Oh, why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go! Carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Turn on, look on it again. I dare not.
Infirm of purpose! Give me the daggers! The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me that every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. More knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking! I would thou couldst.
Here is
'tis a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hell Gate, he should have old turn on the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Oh, here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Wait, here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor. Come hither for stealing out of a French house. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Oh, knock, knock, never quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to let in some of our professions that go the primrose way to everlasting bonfire. Anon! I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
That is, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him, and it murders him. It sets him on, and it takes him off. It persuades him, and it disheartens him. It makes him stand to, and it makes him not stand to. And in conclusion, equivocates him in his sleep, and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave you the lie last night.
That it did, sir. In the very throat of me. But I requited him for his lie. And I think, being too strong for him, though he took me up the legs sometime, yet I made a shaft to cast him out. Oh, dearie dear. Oh.
Thy master stirring?
Our
knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death, and prophesizing with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. Some say the earth was feverous and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke out the Lord's anointed temple and stove thence the life of the building.
What did you say? The life?
Mean you his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell. Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain! Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak! Speak!
Gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo. Banquo, our royal master's murdered.
Woe, alas, what in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant all's nothing serious immortality, all is but toys. Renown and grace is dead, the wine of life is drawn, and the mere less is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
By whom?
Those of this chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were bandaged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They started and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition, my violent love, outrun the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach of nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. And there, the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain? That had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known.
Help me, hence. Oh.
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady! And when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all.
So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I. Our separated fortunes shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the near bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself, when there's no mercy left.
How goes the world, sir, now?
I see you not.
Is known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas, the day! What good could they pretend?
They are suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Kent's nature still, thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life's means? And 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin. Out to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old roads sit easier than our new.
Farewell.
Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou played most foully for it. Yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is't far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt here and supper.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling the hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow. Then therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie to horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord, our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my grip. Thence to be wenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace only for them. And mine internal jewel given to the common enemy of man to make them kings, the seed of Banquo, kings, rather than so come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he, in times past, which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were born in hand, how crossed the instruments who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion craze say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our second point of meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and for his issue with those heavy hands hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, sows, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous service hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so the men. Now, if you have a station in this file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosom, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wears our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege. The vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my lie on any chance to mend it or be rid on't.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
My lord.
So he is mine. In such a bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives...
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace always thought that I require a clearness, and with him leave no rubs or botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
My lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king, I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Naught's had, all spent, where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of the former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel, nor poison, malice, domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on! Gentle, my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present an eminence both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Knowest that Banquo and his fleance lives?
But in them nature's copy's not a turn.
Comfort yet, they are assailable. Then be thou jocund ere the bat flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, and there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So pray thee, go with me.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
It is not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us.
Hark! I hear horses.
Give us a light there. Ho!
A light! A light!
'Tis he!
Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Oh, treachery! Fly, good flames! Fly! Oh, base revenge! Slave!
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down. The sun is fled.
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
There will now be a 5-minute intermission.
Thanks to your majesty.
You know your own degree. Sit down. At first and last, a hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time, we will require her welcome.
Oh, pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. From my heart speaks they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure of the table round. There's blood upon thy face.
Is Banquo's then?
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou did it, thou art the non-Periel.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect. Who is the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air, but now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound to saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo safe.
Aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. Here the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled hath nature in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer.
Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion wait on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Hear that we have now our country's honor roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. It pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and absent from his good. Pray you, the fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion. Read and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare unlook that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Pray, see there. Behold. Look. Lo. How can say you? Why, what care I if thou canst nod? Speak too. If charnel houses in our graves must send that those we bury back, our monument shall be as maws of kites.
What? Quite unmanned in folly?
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fie for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time. Aye, and since due murders have been performed, too terrible for the air. The times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget yet. Oh, do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to know those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here, to all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties in the pledge.
Our duties in the pledge.
O Lord, take quit my sight, let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Hast thou no speculation in those eyes which thou doth glare with?
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other. Only
Man,
spoils the
dear,
pleasure
I
of the
dear.
time.
Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hyrcan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble or stay alive again. And dare me to the desert with my sword. In trembling I inhabit then. Protest me the baby of a girl. Hands horrible and shadows. Unreal mockery. Why, so, being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can hold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. A question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
We'll have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones that have been known to move and trees to speak, augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and coughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great meeting?
Did you send to him, sir?
I heard it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow. And betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood steeped in so far that should I wade no more, returning was as tedious as gore. Strange things I have in my head. That will to hand which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come. Will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Ah, Pierre cries. 'Tis time. 'Tis time.
Round about the cauldron go. In the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31 sweltered venoms sleeping got. Will thou
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf. Of the raven, sea salt shark, root of hemlock, digged to the dark. Silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips. Finger of birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags, what is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yesty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's garments tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
We'll answer.
Say, if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call 'em. Let me see 'em.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow, grease that's sweaten from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deathly show.
Macbeth, Macbeth, beware Macduff, beware the thane of fight. Dismiss me, enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks thou. How my heart, my fear aright, but one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff, what need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like an issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be! Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Sweet boatman's good. Rebellion's head never rise till Wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature. pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me if your art can tell so much. Shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know.
Show!
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 Show his eyes and grieve his heart.
Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo down. Thy crown doth sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other golden brown brow, is like the first. The third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth! Start eyes, what will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet, a seventh, I'll see no more. And yet an eighth appears, who bears a glass, which shows me many more, and some I see that two full balls and treble scepters carry, a horrible sight. Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-bolter Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. What? Is this so?
Aye, sir. All this is so.
Where are they? Gone. Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there.
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse who wast came by.
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before this purpose cool, but no more sight. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
Oh, you must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom, where the flight so runs against all reason.
Oh, no, my dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'dst never fear the net, nor the line, the pitfall, nor the gin.
Why should I, mother? Poor birds, they're not set for. My father is not dead, so you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swears are fools, for there are liars and swears enow to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honour I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is to nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now, I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm? What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He is a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain!
What? You egg? Young fry of treachery!
He's killed me, mother! Run away, I pray you!
Murder! Murder! Murder!
Let us seek out some desolate shade. There, weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall in birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dolor.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no, believe. And what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I'm young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended, I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right. And here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name, but there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids would not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings, but fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows, in my most ill-composed affection, such a staunchless avarice, that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer-seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings, yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. A nation miserable with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed, thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repentest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Rest thy hope ends here.
Macduff, This noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples. Reconcile my thoughts to thy heart. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Now will together. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile. See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin. Come hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that makes us strangers.
Oh, sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard of your speech. How goest?
Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good Seward and 10,000 men. Oh. An older and a better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Oh, would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that would be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What man, ne'er pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'er-fraught heart and bids it break.
My children, too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence my wife killed, too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones, did you say all? Oh, hellkite, all! What? All my pretty chickens in their dam in one fail swoop.
Dispute it like a man?
I shall do so. But I must also feel it like a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am. Not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and brag it with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length set him, and if he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it last you walked?
Since his majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in the most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may, to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Oh, lo, you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her, to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Heart she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrances the more strongly.
Out, damned spot, out, I say! 1, 2. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier and afeard? What need we fear who knows it? When none can call our power to account. Yet who would have known the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to. Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there. Her heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well, well, well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed, to bed, to bed, to bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her, remove from her all means of annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenges burn in them, for their dear causes would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Near Budham Wood shall we meet them. That way are they coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Sinward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid their faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge, each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs, to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood remove the Dunsinane. I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power over thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon. Where got'st thou that goose look?
There is 10,000.
Geese, villain?
Soldiers, sir!
Go prick thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death on thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever or deceive me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf, that which should accompany old age as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses, scur the country round, hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased, pluck from the memory of rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on, give me my staff. Seaton, send out. Doctor, the things fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pulled off, I say! What rhubarb senna or what purgative drug would scour these English heads? Hearest thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Wood come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand and chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery err in report of us.
It shall be done.
Shall be done.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event. Put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issues strokes must arbitrate. Towards which, advance the war!
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful beard to beard and beat them backward ho. What is that noise?
'Tis the cry of women, my good lord.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. Time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and the fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comes to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say. I saw, but I know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming. I say a moving grove.
If thou speakest false upon the next tree, thou shalt hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if it does for me again. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies the truth. Fear not till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane. And now a wood comes towards Dunsinane. Arm! Arm and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow wind! Come rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. One that was not born of woman, such a one I am to fear, or none.
Turn, hellhound, turn.
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easiest mayest thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress, as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Dispel thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed than palter with us in a double sense, and keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole, and underwrit, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield. To kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with a rabble's curse. Though Burnham Wood be come to Dunsinane, and thou oppose being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damn be him that first cries, hold, enough.
With the friends we missed, we're safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Hail, King! So thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head? The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, and speak my salutation in their minds, whose voice I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail,
Hail,
King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves, and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands, took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
So thank you, everyone who is in the audience. Welcome, welcome. I'm Owen Thompson. I am the director of tonight's performance. I'm also the co-host of the Bardcast at Shakespeare You Dick. Lisa N. Goldsmith is our other co-host. Thank you so much for bearing with some of our technical difficulties. Hi, Lisa Ann. Welcome. Can we hear you? Are you muted?
Yes, hi, everyone. Hi.
I can't hear. Well, maybe hold on a second. Oh, we are. Sorry. Hold on.
So clearly we're learning how to do this live stream Zoom thing.
This is our very first performance. So thank you for bearing with our technical difficulties and our learning curve. Part of that learning curve, I see that many of you are still with us. I cannot see the live chat. I am not sure that you are able to live chat. So let me suggest that if people here, the actors will be coming out momentarily for a little Q&A. If you are friends with people in the cast, perhaps you could text them your questions or your comments, and we would love to get to all of them. We would love to hear from you. We're sort of feeling our way to figure out some of the vicissitudes of doing live stream performances on YouTube. Like I said, this is our very first one.
You could also send us an email at thebardcastyoudick@gmail.com.
Yes, by all means, you can visit our website anytime you like, and we encourage you to do so, of course. But in the meantime, we'd love to hear your comments right now. So if you have a friend or a loved one in the show, by all means, text away. We'd love to hear them. I encourage the cast to come out whenever they're available or ready, whoever is going to join us. Let me introduce you. Lisa Ann Goldsmith is here. She is our Lady Macbeth. Colin Wolfe is our Malcolm. Jason McCune is Macduff. I'm just going in the order that I see you in the Brady Bunch boxes around my head. Cynthia Enfield is our second weird sister and assorted murderers and lords. Benjamin Russell is Lennox. Albert Aid is the Doctor. Simon Niggam is young Macduff, Fleance, and Donalbain. Elizabeth Rogers is the first murderer, the first weird sister, and Menteith. Zachary Clark is our Macbeth. Thank you very much, Zachary. Shawnice Chapman is our third weird sister and assorted murderers and lords. Brian Linden is King Duncan. There's Keith Howard is our Banquo. Michael Daly is many parts, Seaton, the Bloody Sergeant, and lots besides. And Jeff Gerner is our Ross. So until we get some questions from the audience, which I hope we do, and guys, check your phones by all means if anyone is asking you things.
tried to live text and it appears to be working, but
Yeah, I just don't see anything in in my live chat.
Got
So
it.
by all means, if anybody can see anything in your live chat that people are asking or commenting upon, just bring it up.
Well, also the live stream is 25 seconds behind us, so.
Right, that is true. So let me put it out there and ask the cast if anybody has any comments on what it's like to do Shakespeare on Zoom in our pandemic era, as opposed to in the before times.
I
Or
know
what
it almost killed me tonight.
So we have, I mean, obviously, let me say to anybody that doesn't know out there, many people that are here, almost everybody has worked with Lisa Ann and myself in one way or another, certainly in real productions before a pandemic. But every other week we do a private reading of a Shakespeare play that we've come to call Shakespeare Sunday. And we've read 21 of Shakespeare's plays at this point. And that is not, as this is, semi-rehearsed and with production value, but that's just sitting around in our living rooms reading a play. So we decided at a certain point that we wanted to up our game a little bit and do this for the general public on YouTube. You guys are so great to join us. And we had, how many rehearsals? Four rehearsals of about 3 hours each, putting together the technical aspects of this and trying to find our way in the era of Zoom theater, since that's what we have right now. Well, enough of me talking. Does anyone in the cast have anything to say about what that experience is like?
Yeah, well,
terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
I got
there you go.
A real sense. It was
I hope that's
fun.
Scotch.
Yeah. It was really
it's
fun.
rye.
Benjamin,
really
I drank all mine, so I have none left.
What were you saying, Benjamin?
Oh, it was just, we can often talk about the limitations of Zoom, but one of the great things that I've really enjoyed is being able to see everybody's work. Normally, all the actors are backstage waiting, for the time that they have to go on stage. Now, I was able to see everyone else do their thing in real time, and that was so much fun. It was so much fun to be part of a production where you got to see everything going on as an audience member and an actor.
Yeah, that is definitely true. We don't always, you're usually backstage or doing your own thing and not getting to see the other stuff, but we're all looking at it like right in front of us. You guys are probably seeing it more than me because I'm also running the music and the visuals on my end. So I look up and I've got YouTube on my left on my tablet over here to see, which is it's actually on about a minute delay. Is that Shawneese that is saying
Yes.
Renata wants to know where we get? Ask that question.
She wants to know where we find the material to cover ourselves in our various roles.
So we've asked, because we're all in our own apartments, and yet we're trying to suggest something. Obviously, we don't have a wardrobe department, so I asked the actors to sort of bring to the table like whatever bits and pieces around their house they had to like suggest this play. And so I think there's a lot of like robes and pajama bottoms
An
that
authentic
are plaid shirts.
LL Bean shirt.
Mm-hmm. At one point I suggested to Lisa Ann that maybe we should call this series Apartment Pants Theater.
Yeah, I'm wearing sweatpants on the bottom. I know about you.
Oh, we're supposed to wear pants?
Yeah, I'm not even going there.
I had some just standard plaid, not a tartan, but
what's that, Elizabeth?
This is actually one of my family tartans.
Wow.
Believe it or not, this is the Buchanan plaid.
Oh, I was going to say what clan? Buchanan clan?
This hideously bright.
Looks like that jacket.
And my father actually had a pair of pants made out of this.
Wow. Cool. So who are the Buchanans in your family?
Well, it's actually not as of now. My sister-in-law has done a lot of genealogical research, and we think that maybe it's false. But there are Buchanans in middle names going back, including my brother. And so we had at some point thought that we were related to the Buchanan presidents, but I think we are related to one of them. And I think we're related to the one who was like drunk and died.
Great.
3 months ago.
There's no shame in that.
Who got pneumonia at his inauguration and died. But that may actually be apocryphal. But it was embraced a long time ago, and so.
Yeah, well, listen, almost all of my blood is British Isles, but little of it is Scottish. And I learned at a certain point, I was hoping that I had like a clan or some tartan, but Thompson, which is my last name with a P, is English. Thompson without the P, Thompson, is Scottish. Mm-hmm. So nope, no tartan for me.
Well, Rogers with the D supposedly is a Scottish spelling, but my sister-in-law has informed us that there's more Irish and very little Scottish, if anything.
Has anyone had anyone text them a question?
Yeah, if anyone does, just raise your hand. And while we're waiting for that, I'll ask if anybody here has had experience doing this play, like in the before times in real productions. Yeah, Elizabeth?
Yes, and I played the first witch.
Oh, son of a gun. Where?
It was then the New Jersey Shakespeare Festival.
Right. Zach, you have done it as well, right? Have you?
Yeah, I did. I did a production for the Young Company at Classic Stage Company where I played the Thane of Angus in that. Yeah. So a little bit of a bit part, but I've also taught it a few times for my junior high school students, so I know the play pretty well.
It's a good play for junior high school students, I think. Michael, you've done it a bunch, right?
Not a bunch. Actually, my wife and I got to play Mr. and Mrs. Mac a while ago. Right?
Ooh,
that's awesome.
2000.
That's lovely. Yeah. Brian, I know you've done it like endlessly, right?
I've done it 3. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
I've done it 3 times before. In about 4 years ago, I played Hecate in Nebraska.
Cindy Faniff?
Oh, sorry, what?
With Cindy Faniff? Nebraska Shakes?
It was Nebraska Shakes, though I don't know that name.
Cindy? Okay.
And then I played the first witch. Oh, it's been over. It was in the 90s. And then also in the 90s, I played the first witch was at both were in the Bay Area. I played Seton also at Marin Shakespeare.
I played Lady Macbeth and Macbeth in a gender-reversed production. 2 separate productions.
I was lucky enough to see you as Lady Macbeth.
That's right, you were. So Simon's dad wants to know about the charities, what they are, and where to contribute.
Yes.
So the 2 charities that we would love people to donate, if you liked what you saw, is Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS and the Actors Fund. The links for both of those are on our webpage, www.thebardcastyoudick.com.
Which, by the way, is our podcast, and you should listen to it.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we just dropped our 19th episode today, and we actually changed our topic. We were going to do one topic and change to Zoom Shakespeare because it has pretty much been taking over our lives, and we figured that was much more appropriate.
Yeah, neither Lisa Ann or I had the bandwidth to do any research for another topic this week, considering that we were so involved with doing this. It takes some effort to put this together. Does it not, ladies and gentlemen?
But the podcast is called The Bardcast. It's Shakespeare, you dick, and there is a story behind that. And it is available on Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, anywhere you could possibly get a podcast.
Exactly. Yes, Shawnice.
My father-in-law wants to congratulate everyone on an impressive performance.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank your father-in-law.
Yes, indeed.
I just wanted to say that I had played Macbeth in Los Angeles. The production was in Chicago, but I played it in.
Well, I want you all to know that our friend Alvin Keith texted me and he said everybody was rocking it.
Oh, thanks, Alvin. We should give shout outs to Alvin Keith, who was going to play Macduff in this production, but sadly for us, but happily for him, he's shooting a new Netflix show.
A new Netflix Netflix movie with an amazing cast, Meryl Streep and Jennifer Lawrence. And
I've heard of her.
So, it's pretty cool. And we should also give a shout out to our dear friend Patrick Lawler, who we all know very well, and who was originally playing Banquo in this production. But Patrick is in Austin, so I'm sure you guys know what's going on right now with the blackouts and the terrible
power,
situation.
He actually was able to call Owen finally to tell him that he was just not going to get power back by driving around in his car trying to find a signal.
Unbelievable. So Lisa Ann reached out to her dear friend, and the result is Mr. McCune has joined us as Macduff. Oh, I'm so sorry. That my brain is fried.
And our dear friend Keith Howard, who
Howard has replaced Patrick Lawler.
Falstaff on a visit to St. Falstaff, our Christmas episode.
Indeed.
Yes, our dear friend Keith Howard.
Our thanks to you for everything that you've done for the Bardcast now and in the future.
I would like to point out one of the things, we talk, as Benjamin was saying, we talk so much about the vicissitudes and the difficulties of doing what we're doing here. But one of the incredibly cool things for me is that we're all in different places.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to come together to rehearse and put this together in one place online, but we're coming from, this production could not happen because we all live in different places. And so the fact that we can do that makes it, I don't know, I think it makes it really magical.
It's one of the silver linings of Zoom.
I don't know where everyone
spend time together.
So Jason is saying he doesn't know where everyone is. So
put it in rename ourselves with our towns and states.
There you go. Good idea.
But
I have a question.
Oh,
A question from Mom, who would like to know how the backgrounds and dagger props and heads and all of that were done.
Well, it takes a village.
Sure does.
I wanted to, zhuzh this up a little bit. So the backgrounds and the music are basically is me staying up until 3 or 4 in the morning, many nights in a row, scouring Google and YouTube and sound effects sites for different backgrounds. And, we have several of them, but several hundred were discarded along the way. I thought in terms of the dagger, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there could be like an animated dagger? And I'm like, how the hell do I do that? And I found a GIF of that spinning dagger, but my computer is not advanced enough. It's too old, frankly, to put an anime. I found out how to change a GIF into an MP4 file that Zoom would allow, but my computer couldn't do it. So we had to go to Lisa Ann's dear friend, Deborah
Hosking. Yeah.
Who converted that file into a file that could be visible in the background on Zoom. And then I emailed those files to some of our actors and allocated who should come on when with the files. And then I took one image of that GIF as a JPEG and put blood all over it, so that when Macbeth sees the bloody dagger, we had that as well. The apparitions in the witches scene in Act 4, I thought it would be really cool if we could somehow accomplish that. So initially, I found those images that I thought were kind of horrifying and disturbing, and I did a bare bones animation, but it was really Jeff lent his voice to one of them, and Michael Daly ran them through some wizardry that is way above my pay grade and made them look, to me, unbelievably cool. But it's a group effort. It really is.
Yeah, it was fun.
There's some people that need to scoot. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody that watched. We have another performance tomorrow at 3 p.m. So if you know anybody that you think might like it, please let them know. And again, the podcast is the Bardcast at Shakespeare U Dick. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you all so much, and thanks to the cast. Get some sleep, guys, and we'll see you
Elizabeth,
tomorrow.
Elizabeth, can you hang out for a second? Elizabeth.